So in today's interview, we have invited Usama, one of our clients who has moved recently from Canada to Dubai. Usama operates a software business where he felt that his business has reached a stage in Canada where if he passed beyond, if he tried to scale that business, the 40 to 50% taxation from the Canadian tax authorities would seriously impact the growth of his business and his personal motivation as well. Because if he started to grow the business to the level that he wants to grow, but then half of whatever he's making has been taken by the Canadian government. That was the main reason why Usama decided to move his business and his personal residency to Dubai. And of course, he have done that successfully, and now he's free to expand and scale his business without having these ideas of, giving away 50% to the government. One more thing unique about Usama's case is that we not only he moved by himself, that as most of the young entrepreneurs do, he also moved with his family, so his spouse and children's, and that kind of increases the scope of work, and that increases the scope of how many steps are there. And again, immigrating to a new country is indeed a challenging task. When you're doing it with a family, it becomes even more challenging. So I'm happy that my team and myself, we were able to work through Usama and his family step by step, and we were able to guide him in every step, and we were able to make sure that his family immigration was as smooth and as easy as possible. Because again, with family, with spouse and children, if you're stuck at immigration, you're stuck at airports, you're stuck with documentation. So overall, it can create discomfort for a family. So yeah, not only we were able to move his business and himself to Dubai, but also successfully been able to move his family. We have been successfully able to issue all the residence family visas as well. So I hope you enjoyed the interview, and if you want me to help you move to Dubai as well, then you can book a one-on-one call with me using the first link in the description below. We can have a discussion and see that if UAE is the best choice for you or not. And if it is, then what would be your next steps? So now let's get started with the interview. Can you tell me what is your name and what's your business?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Usama, and I have my own IT consultancy here in Dubai. And I originally started my work out of Canada and just decided to relocate to this part of the world. Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, in terms of my struggles, were very similar to a lot of people that experience, these challenges when they're out in the West and trying to go into the path of entrepreneurship and um, you know, growing their base and bringing in more revenue. We are hit with high taxes. The fact that despite paying these high taxes, then you're not getting your basic necessities or basic coverage like healthcare, and also some of the challenges when it comes to extreme weather. I come from Canada, so it was extremely cold, and the fact that just overall there's a sense of discouragement when you would like to expand and do more with your line of work, and the government is not really cooperative when it comes to helping you expand and grow further. For sure, yeah. No, after relocating to Dubai, I can already see why Dubai has such an amazing reputation when it comes to coming here as freelancers or entrepreneurs and growing your business, or incorporating in a country which offers a very minimal or no tax bracket. So it's very advantageous to set up here, to be able to focus on things that really help you drive the business rather than doing your tax returns in a country where every year you're paying more and more and taking home less and less. Also, in terms of global opportunities and networking, this is an amazing city. There's experts from all over the world. There's people who are always willing to meet up, discuss ideas, potential avenues of collaboration. So I'm very happy, very excited. Almost every day, every other day, I'm getting out to meet new people, discuss potential partnerships, and how we can grow our respective businesses together.
So obviously you come from Canada, and then so when you were moving to a new country, what was your mindset like moving to a new country? And of course, it's Middle East. What was your idea about from as a Canadian looking towards this country, and what were your thoughts about it, and how has that perspective changed, if any, or was it that it resonated with you and this is what you wanted to move towards in terms of the direction?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, in terms of my individual perspectives, fortunately, I'm very well traveled. And in terms of my own line of work, when I was working for different corporates, I got to travel a lot to Middle East and Europe and other places in the world. So I was quite open minded. And I would say my view of Dubai was always different than, what you see in the media and what, the popular narrative is. But even then, I would say a lot of people in the West think that it's a very conservative environment with a lot of heat, and not a lot of trees and very harsh environment. But the fact of the matter is, actually, when you land in Dubai, it's very hard to see just loose sand or dirt because there's greenery everywhere. There's trees, there's bushes, there's dedicated green parks. You can very easily take your family to the beach, and it's not a it's an environment which has been created as such that anybody is free to practice whatever religion they would like, or whatever beliefs they hold on to, and it's a melting pot of cultures where everybody's welcome, and anybody who's motivated to do well is would find it as an amazing mix of everything, really. So from that perspective, I'm very happy to be here because it's a perfect intersection of cultures, things to do, activities, amazing food, and also the business opportunities. Yeah, absolutely. I would say the one thing that you have to be very careful of and wary of when you're thinking about moving to Dubai and moving here is that be very selective and careful who you end up working with. There's a lot of people out there that are posting content about moving here and doing things a certain way. But very quickly, I realized, for example, working with Shiraz, is that having an individual or someone who's supporting you in this journey with deep knowledge of the processes, of all of the regulatory framework is extremely important. My situation was as such that I decided to move with my family. And even though I had a checklist and had done my own research, there were still certain things that I end up missing. Because it is a very streamlined process, but it's very easy to get confused or get caught up. So having a professional on hand, like Shiraz here, for example, will help you a lot, and it's 100% worth it to work with a professional of Shiraz's caliber, and it will make your life so much simpler. So it's a decision and it's an investment well worth it. I would say the couple things that have really helped me, and in terms of your service, and really set you above everybody else. And I will mention them all, actually. The first thing is that the fact that you're always available, always there to answer any questions in terms of any change in plans. You work with the schedule, you work with the client, and really you're focused on providing that value, right? Regardless of what the individual circumstances are, because reality is not every customer will have the same circumstance. Not everybody will be in the same situation. So you work with each client on a very individual basis, which was amazing for me, even though when I had a little bit of hiccups traveling with my family, yourself and your team was there to support us throughout and making sure everything goes as per plan. Um, Number two, I would say, is that in terms of you know when I decided to move here, I did a very I casted a very wide net. I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of companies. There were people that were charging an exuberant amounts of money, and then there were people who were charging very low money. And in terms of their services and whatnot, what I find with Shiraz is that he's focused right down in the center, and he's providing the best value for what you're getting, and it is actually quite affordable for what you get at the end of the day. So I would say those two things really helped me make the decision to stick with you and to continue working with you. Yeah, I would say, look, the first thing you have to do is don't hesitate to book the first call, right? Shiraz is very open and very eager with his time to book the initial consultation call. And no matter what questions you have regarding the society, regarding the business setup, regarding the licenses, make a quick list and you know run run with these questions and get them answered by Shiraz, or for that matter, anybody you're talking to. And depending on the the quality of responses that you see, you can very easily tell who is very knowledgeable about this, who has experience dealing with these questions. And the key value again is working with somebody like Shiraz can really help you speed up this process and make sure that you're doing things in the most optimized manner, and you're following a pathway that will lead to success for your company. So you're spending as little time as possible with this and getting up started in Dubai as quickly as possible. So that would be the key differentiating factor, and is something that Shiraz is very, very good at.
You understand that my service is not the cheapest in the market. Of course, it's not the most expensive one, but definitely not the cheapest one as well. And maybe you have paid like upward of $10,000 or $12,000 to work with me. But why did you decided that? Like, why did you decide to work with me despite the higher cost?
Right. So one thing I think, as entrepreneurs, we all know, and we learn very quickly, is that at the end of the day, the service you get is really, there's a direct correlation. Well, not direct really, but you pay for what you get. Really, that's one thing I've learned with Dubai. Now, having said that, there are people on both sides of the spectrum. There's people who are taking you around in a limousine and charging you 50 grand for the service, and then there's people who have these ads when you're walking in Jumeirah or other places. Visas arrange very cheap, right? So you can kind of already understand what kind of service they're giving. And the key issue is that, or the key gap that exists on both sides of the service is that, if you go with some service that's extremely cheap, you may be able to get the visa. But then when it comes to ongoing support for your business, or changing circumstances, or you need a different business license, or your taxation structure changes and whatnot, these people are not going to be there to answer you, right? Whereas the difference is working with somebody like Shiraz with a background in accounting, and then having the deep knowledge of the system, but then doing his own entrepreneurship journey. He's very much aware of the whole ecosystem, and he's there to answer all the questions as you go, and he's there as an ongoing support. And having said that, if you're getting all of this from somebody like Shiraz, who's very appropriately priced and is giving you the most amount of value for your money, why would you go with services on the other end, which are again charging you 40, 50, $60,000 for the exact same service? So for me, it was a question of, I need to be savvy. I have a business that I run, but I also want value for what I pay for. And to me, that perfect combination was Shiraz and his company.
So, any last words from your side to any advice for the people who are really in Europe, in Canada, who are seeing it from the outside, seeing it from far, that okay, there is something that I can do that can potentially help me scale my business, help me with taxes, but they're not ready to take this step. What is the suggestion that you would do that can help them ease out this transition or help them to take the first step?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I would say for people who are still doubtful and are on the fence, look, there's not there's not much you can do in life without taking the first step. And if people understand the reference to ice hockey, they say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Um, so from that perspective, if you're uncertain but you've been thinking about it, chances are that it is, this is going to be a very viable spot for you to do business. But if you're still unsure, if you're still kind of on the fence, then what you can do is please book that introductory call, right? All it's going to take is 30 minutes of your time. Get your questions answered. See how you feel about Shiraz's knowledge and initial responses. And the other thing you can do is always come for a visit, right? It doesn't hurt to try it out for a few days. Dubai is a great place to spend your vacation, to see how you like the place, and really decide for yourself. But I can say that with confidence is that after you come here, um, I don't see why you wouldn't want to settle here. It's This place has a charisma and magic of its own. It's very inviting. It's very welcome. It's an absolutely amazing place to do business, to raise your family, and really get a very high quality of living. So from my perspective, go ahead, book that call, and don't hesitate, because you're losing out on time.
Thank you very much, Osama, for your time. It was a pleasure speaking to you. And I look forward to continually working with you.
Likewise, likewise.
Okay.
Thank you for all of your help throughout the process, and looking forward to being there. As we close this out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.